Guys, welcome back to my channel. So I know I had a missing video last week, and this is my like my second video maybe of May. So I just want to kind of go through and let's just have a chit chat. You guys know I don't do a lot of talking before we get to the subject, so look, let's just go. So let's start off with first, you know, creating content is not the easiest thing. There are times when you're into it and everything works out. There is a lot going on with life, and I sat here for almost a week trying to figure out, like, what can I bring you guys, what can I talk about and not feel or be redundant, right? And I came back from spring break, which was my last vlog, and the easiest video for me, I come to you guys every month with my top 10. That's a super easy video because I know what I've used the whole month or what's been working for me. So that was a no-brainer. But then when the next week came, it was like, girl, what do I have to talk about, right? And so I didn't have a whole lot, plus just being in a sort of a slump, right? And I said, you know what? All week long, actually for the past 2 weeks, I'm like, what can I talk about? What am I going to say? What are we going to do? And realistically, I don't buy clothes every single week. We've talked about trends. We've talked about, you know, my fall, my spring and summer wish list. Like, what else is there for me? And I kept looking for inspiration. And there's so much going on in the world right now that, if I'm being honest, I'm not quite sure what anyone really cares about, right? Because even myself as a consumer of content, I've kind of sort of been in this slump as a consumer. Like, I'm not vibing with what I'm seeing. And I kept saying, well, then what do you want to see? What do you want to see? And you know, sometimes I think a good sit down transparency video, let's just chit chat, right? So let me start off with, like I said, creating content is a very it's a hard job, and it is a job, and I don't think people really understand that. You hear content creators say, oh, it's hard, and I think people think they're just sipping champagne and turning the camera on. It's something you really need to think through if you want to provide value to this community, right? And if you're just constantly coming on and just showing up at a 5 when you need to at least be at a 9 or an 8, it's going to shine through. And so when I tell you guys, I struggled all the last 2 weeks with, like, what to talk about. And this morning it hit me like, let's just sit down and talk about, like, what's going on, right? And so for me, the Instagram algorithm has kind of been weird. I'm not sure if you guys are content creators, if you feel the same way. I think I've kind of gotten that vibe where, like, you know, I don't know. I've done some posts that I feel like are amazing, and it's just not hitting it, right? And for my audience, I only have about 23K, I think, over there. So if I hit that 600 to 800 likes, that's in the right percentile, right? And that's the whole point. You're not just throwing content out here. Like, it needs to hold a certain average to be able to work with brands and things like that. So for my following, that's my sweet spot. Some of my things were like down in the 100s. Listen, on my personal page, when I was my government name, before I became a content creator, 100 likes was normal, right? But of course, the things are changing, and I don't like to blame the algorithm. I think sometimes as content creators, it's just that content didn't hit. You didn't post at the right time. You didn't hit the right people. You didn't use the right hashtag. You did no research. My next video I posted a few days, I posted a lot of my my vlog, the things I did when I was at the Salamander. And sometimes, like, people seeing you in a different environment, it throws off your target audience. I don't know what it is, but I thought it was great content, but it just kind of was like, fell a little bit flat. And then I posted about the shoes I found and the Louboutins I found for like $200 in Nordstrom's Rack, and that was like back at my normal range, 800 to 900 likes, right? But I'm saying all of that to say, when you are a content creator, it is discouraging when you've taken your time to really make the content, and it's like, Instagram, you only showed this many people, or maybe my people just wasn't vibing. I think there's ownership on us as well as well as the algorithm, right? So with all that being said, it just kind of threw me in a loop, right? And not necessarily on the content side, because I get it that some posts are going to hit, but I've spoken about this before. I'm in the DMV area. I'm in the federal government. And guys, I have a long day. I've gone from, I'm up at 4:45 in the morning. I'm on like a 5:40 bus. I take a commuter bus into work. I just found that out. That it's been like a little bit of a saving grace for me because I can kind of close my eyes and nap a little bit. Coming and going home, I don't have to deal with traffic, so it mentally helps a lot. And I take a small nap. I'm at my desk at 7. I'm gone at 4. I'm not getting to the parking lot where my car is until 5:30 on a good day and closer to 6 or a little after. I don't have time for anything. Because it is summer now, or spring, where it's getting dark a little bit later. When this all started back in February, when I left it was dark, and when I came home it was dark. And that can throw you into something. So literally the room that I film in here has been a disaster because 5 days a week I'm trying to, and I'm throwing on anything. That's a whole nother thing, guys. Oh, film the outfits you're wearing to work, baby. You don't want to see those. You don't. I can promise you, you don't want to see those. I am almost in a uniform throwing on the same thing over and over and over again because I am, at that time in the morning, I'm exhausted. And so what I'm trying to say is to give it up to the people that are showing up. And I know folks that are getting up at 3 a.m. so they can post content. See, my problem with that is my face needs about 4 hours to wake up first before I can even put makeup on. So that wouldn't work for me. I come on here at 3 in the morning, y'all gonna shut the whole app down, okay? You don't want to see that, okay? So it's been a lot and trying to readjust myself. Y'all know I'm in Pilates. I have my membership with the Club Pilates. Y'all haven't been in 2 months because I can't go in the morning. The studio isn't open yet. In the evening, I have all this. I'm gonna do it. But I get home, I'm exhausted. And again, we're chit-chatting here, so I'm going to probably roll around a couple different places. But it leads me to my point of, like, marriage. And listen, if you are a single woman and you are looking to get married, please don't marry anyone with old school thought processes, especially in a new school world. What I mean by that, don't let anyone tell you, well, my grandmother did it. And I grew up with living, I would say living with the guilt of what people will tell you when you first get married. Oh, you're the mother, you're the wife, you should be able to do this. Let me tell you something. Your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and it's a joke about, you know, they wore the moo-moo and had all the kids and granddaddy paid all the bills. They also had no individuality outside of their home. They were suffering. A lot of them were abused, right? And grandma was able to be a homemaker, right? She was able to stay at home and take care of the kids and the husband. That's different. We live in a 2-parent income house more than likely, I think, for most Americans. And some of it is due to our consumption level, for sure, right? But those ideas from the 50s and the 60s cannot be brought present into 2025, okay? Where I woke up just like you did. I went to work in traffic just like you did. I dealt with a boss. I dealt with coworkers. I dealt with projects. I dealt with deadlines. I came home in the same traffic that you did. It is now my job to come home at 6 just like you, bathe the children, feed the children and you, clean up, screw you, and then I finally can go to bed. Like, that's not realistic, right? On an everyday level. And I'm saying that to say that my spouse, I thank God for him. He is heaven sent. He is a domesticated man. He don't mind. And he sees it. He's not perfect, but he sees, like, okay, she cooked, I'm washing, right? And he's OCD, so he gonna want to wash the dishes anyway, okay? Because he said I don't do it right. So I just appreciate having that, and those are the things that will get you through. Having a fantastic spouse that sees you and understands the struggle. But some of these men out here that don't really get it and think that a woman is supposed to do all. But my mother did it. Well, your mom stayed home. She was a homemaker, which is fantastic if you can provide that. But there's no way I should be doing all of this all by myself. You know what I mean? And so I just thank God for my husband, because without him, it'll be really difficult getting through this. I don't have small children. My daughter is a teenager. She's almost grown at this point. But it's a lot. And life comes at you super duper fast. So I said all that to say I've been in a bit of a funk and trying to bring myself out of it. I'm not feeling the inspiration, and I don't want to half it, right? I don't want to come on here and like throw on some outfit I don't believe in just to show y'all some content, right? It needs to be real. So wanted to do a little chit chat, and then So another thing that I wouldn't say is holding me back, but another thing I'm dealing with is I'm probably 10 pounds out of my size range right now where I feel most comfortable. And I know it's due to the fact that I'm at work again 5 days a week. I'm at my desk. I'm eating things that I wasn't eating the last 5 years. Case in point, like, I don't eat a bagel, sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich in the morning, but I'm getting to work so early and I'm sitting there and I'm drinking my coffee, but I'm drinking coffee so early that has now worn off. I'm hungry at like 7:30-ish, and it's just easy to go downstairs to the deli or whatever and get a sandwich, right? Where obviously being home, you make different choices and things like that. So I'm sure that has something to do with it. And also just being tired, not making the best decisions when it comes to dinner and things like that, which at the end of this video, if I have time, I'm going to show you guys this new grill that I got, and this carrot salad that I have just been, it's been amazing in my life. So I'm hoping to drop the weight that I need in the next like 2 weeks or so. But you know, that can change a lot. But also I've thought about when I go to work, I was a runner walker for years where I ran at like 11 o'clock at work. I took a shower, but I'm a black girl. Y'all know we sweat. So my hair would fluff up, and I would do like this bush Monday through Thursday. I had it down to a science. And I think I told you guys I used the Mayo products. I was kind of mixed up in that rosemary mint shampoo, kind of messing up the velocity of my hair, and baby, it has done a number. So I know it looks good now if I wear it this way, but I used to be able to wet my hair and wear it in like a bush. If I have some photos, I'll show you guys. And it was my little hairstyle I would wear during that time. Baby, if I wet my hair right now and try to curl it up, the baldness that you would see, you would, no. Absolutely not. So I don't know what's going on with my hair. Some of it could be perimenopause. I think a lot of it came from me using those products. My hair has not been the same since then. So I'm struggling with that. Okay, I can bring my stuff to work and I can walk and run and I can get my mental back together. But baby, I don't want to look like a straw man. Okay, when I finish, I don't want to look crazy like a bird's nest is on top of my head. When I had nice, thick, curly, wavy curls in my hair. So I'm like, no, that's not going to work. So it's just a lot going on. Speaking of spring break, I have also developed a new love for art, and this spring break was for my daughter, and she's a very artsy kind of girl. I kind of explained that in the video, but when I tell you I thoroughly enjoyed myself, where I decided to start going to a few other galleries on my own. I work in the heart of DC, so I'm near a lot of everything, and so I've just been enjoying myself. I went to the Renwick Gallery and I enjoyed that. And I need to get to the Sculpture Garden. I went to the Natural History Museum. That was great, but that was more like exhibits and not really art. But I am taking in the city a little bit, and I'm kind of appreciating that. So that has been great. But outside of that, guys, I've just been overwhelmed. It's been a lot to take in. And I thought I had it down because when I went to the Salamander, I had been back to work. Somehow when I got back, I just couldn't shake it, right? Another thing I want to do is I think adding in like vlogging where you guys come with me while I do try-ons and stuff. I think that'd be great too. Because again, like I told you, I don't purchase things every day. I'm not shopping all the time. Now I have my times where you guys, if you follow me on here, you know that I got multiple things to show you, right? And then there's times where I may go 2 months and not purchase anything. However, I think it is great to still see what's in the store and what works great. So I may start adding that in, but my weekends have been super busy. We're now in prom graduation season. So this weekend right now is full of graduation parties, prom send-offs, graduations. It's been busy. So I was trying to figure out when do I even have time this weekend to put that in. So that's where I am, guys. It's been a lot, and so I'm so sorry I missed last week, and but I'm human, and so I give grace to those content creators that you guys follow that don't show up every week like they should. You need a week off. It's like any job. You need a minute to get yourself together. Okay, so now that I'm done with my ranting about life, I wanted to talk about forever. It's so many things I want to hit on that I don't know if I'm gonna make it all in this particular video. If you haven't seen it, please see it. If you haven't seen it, you may want to click off here because I don't want to spoil anything for you. In a nutshell, 100 out of 100. Million out of a million. One of the best series, one of the best coming of age stories I've ever seen. Maybe it resonated with me because at this point in my life, I could relate to the teens and I could also relate to the parents. The relatability, and Myra Brock Akil just gets it right. Like, I don't know what she does wrong. She's brilliant. And there are words that I think are just given out too easy. And brilliant is one of them. Talented is given away too much. Vibe. Like, there's certain words that we're just like, oh, we're just used to using. No, she is brilliant and she knows how to set a vibe, okay? Her and I would say Issa Rae as well, when it comes to like the vibe, they make me want to live in LA. And I feel like if LA isn't like that, I'm going to be mad. But think back to Moesha, Girlfriends, Insecure. It has that warm, welcoming tone to it. This series was everything. As an adult, you have to look at this series from your 17, 16-year-old self and not from an adult. It was so good that my husband's not a chick flick kind of person, and I binge watched it in 2 days, which I can't say I recommend it. I feel like to really take it in, do 1 episode a day if you can. And then I rewatched it with him 1 episode a night. And when I tell you, seeing it the first time and the second time made me even more appreciative of just the cast, the soundtrack. It was so good that I Googled who did like the music on the show. I've never done that before in my life. If I ever do a life story of myself, which would be very, very boring and unentertaining, the music will be done by whoever did it on that show. I have never downloaded so many songs from a series in my life. It made me question where I was in 2018. Like, I did Summer, by Donald Glover. That's not his stage name, but you guys know who I'm talking about. Gangsta, Daniel Caesar, SZA, like the songs, I'm like, where was I at? They captured the emotion and the vibe all in one. And that's what you need from a composer when it comes to film, right? The cast. She couldn't have done better with casting them. And the reason the story resonated with me, I was loving Basketball Girl for years because my high school boyfriend was in basketball. So it's like kind of, sort of, but not really, because they were kind of Baldwin Hills kids and blah, blah, blah. This was a great story of I think they were in Beverly Hills for the guy's parents. And then the girl, I grew up in Capitol Heights, which is not the projects, but I am right near, I'm a few streets, I grew up a few streets away from Eastgate and Simple City. If you're from the DMV, especially DC, Capitol Heights area, you know what I'm talking about. Crime and that life was just a few stones throw away. So although I didn't grow up in those neighborhoods, it was so close that some of the danger came near me, right? And so it resonated with me as far as like how I grew up with where, and also like with my mom. And I totally get it. So we're used to seeing these stories where the girl or the guy, whatever, whoever's in poverty, is in the projects. The mother works at a diner. There's some random dude that sleeps in the house and he tries to touch the girl and all of that. And it's nothing like that. This is a hardworking mother who's working very hard to put her child through private school, which any parent, I don't care if you make 6 figures. If you're making $100,000, depending on your lifestyle, it is still expensive getting your child through private school on one income. So even if you're at $100,000, that is still a very difficult thing, especially living somewhere like LA. Okay, they were not living in Oklahoma, where she's making $100,000 possibly. So the mom had seems like a very average job, and but she was a single parent, right? And there was not, gangsters and drug addicts outside of her home. She lived in a very normal neighborhood, and that's how I grew up. The guy was from the upper echelon. His family, I think the father was like a Michelin star chef, the mom was an executive, and I love the fact they didn't play economics here, where the mother who has it is looking down upon the family who doesn't. it was so refreshing, but also realistic. And I have to tell you, I went down a rabbit hole of like, why do I feel this trauma? Every time something happened, and I know Myra filmed it in that way to make you think something was going to happen. At one point, he drops her off at what's near her home, but it's not her home. And I feel like, oh my goodness, this is LA. Mind you, this is filmed in 2018, 19, around the time of Trayvon Martin. I think George Floyd may have happened or hadn't happened yet. So I'm like, of course they're going to add this in here, right? Black teen gets shot, makes sense. Nothing happens. I was waiting for this shoe to drop and I had to ask myself, why? That's not realistic. My high school boyfriend isn't unalived, or he wasn't unalived. Then, you know what I mean? Like, why do I think these tragic things are going to happen? Because that's what we've been fed. And she just gave us a wholesome, realistic look at high school love. Now, they're trying to solve a problem here, which can be aggravating to some people, but it's aggravating to your 45-year-old brain, okay? They are 17. Keisha, I said spoiler alert, has a sex tape. And unbeknownst to everybody, which you find out later, she recorded it, okay? So even the villain of the show, the person that should be the villain, at first episode I thought, how dare he recorded her and sent it around, that's terrible. No, Miss Hot Pants, Keisha, recorded herself. And at first I thought, that's not realistic. We gotta think back, y'all. When we were in high school, probably not. But this day and age, I think they're a bit different. And that can lead me down a whole nother rabbit hole when it comes to dating and the advice I give my single girlfriends. But I do think these kids feel like if I don't do it or do these things and send my body parts via text, he's going to go to the next girl, right? However, this now lives in Wonderland and internet land, and it can go anyway, right? Granted, his reasoning for sending it out was kind of dumb, but again, we're talking about dumb kids. Don't take your adult brain to try to understand that. I get it because at 17, I tried to fix so many internal problems that I didn't want to worry my mom. You have to understand why she didn't want to worry her mother. She has a single mother. She left a fully paid tuition school. She was on a scholarship because she wanted to get away from this thing that happened, right? But she, in a way, caused it, right? Her and that boy had both responsibilities. Should never recorded it. She should never sent it to him. He shouldn't have sent it out, right? Now your mother who's working hard has to work even harder to get this taken care of, right? And you can't look at your mother who's working hard and went out and bought you the $500 dress that took her last. Let me tell you something. That scene of that mother sitting in that garden with that cigarette, I know that feeling all too well from my own mother of like, I didn't get it back then, but now I understand that's giving woo, baby. I worked hard for that. I did overtime. I picked up an extra job so that you can have it, all for me to tell you I screwed it up myself. So I can totally understand what she was thinking. Although it's dumb, they're kids. It's supposed to be dumb, okay? I love that they both equally loved each other because, baby, my husband, he kept being like, oh, he's stupid for her. Let me tell you something. Justin is the block king, okay? And at the end, you understand he's the one that breaks it off, right? But he didn't allow her to go but so far. You know what I'm saying? And I think that, like, what I didn't get when I first watched it was like, why does he keep forgiving her? And then when I saw it the second time, I realized they are 17 and trying to figure out grown adult stuff. So let's get into the parents. I understood the children because that was kind of sort of similar to my life with my mom and growing up, you know, with a single parent. I didn't understand his parents for that age range because I didn't have anybody who had money like that in my life. But as an adult now, being able to see the parenting and the parenting styles, oh my gosh. The wife and the husband, his parents, Wood Harris, and I can't think of the actress's name, but her name was Dawn in the film. Totally understand her. She wants the best for her children. She wants them to do their best. I love the dynamic of which they showed. Wood Harris's character is getting a lot of flowers online because we don't get to see these fathers who are real, but not ruling with an iron fist. And this goes back to what I said earlier about, you know, when you're picking your spouse, you got to be really careful who you picking. I love seeing him take the other son to school. We have to do this together. This is us. I know you a Michelin star chef, but that doesn't take back who I am as a person either, right? We got to work this thing out. So you will often see him telling the younger son, like, come on, we got to go, you know, whatever. Even down to his mom, when he was having that rough day when she went to the prom and him and his brother was fighting in the car, and she's like, go ahead and go in the house. Do y'all know how hard that had to be for her as a mom who wants this level of excellence, who has a son that's suffering with ADHD, who don't want him to fall back, to say, you know what, I can tell you need a day. That to me is like great parenting. Sometimes we got to know these children need a minute. And I know in your life where you're paying bills and you got bigger fish to fry, these children, this is their life. This is all they know. This is a big deal to them. And she knew he needed a minute. And I really enjoyed that. His parents' relationship remind me a lot of me and my husband, because he's probably more the catastrophic parent, but he has this loudmouth, whimsically, all in the air, in La La Land wife. And he can kind of take care of me from back here, right? And I love that of course she was the one like, no, we're gonna do this, that, and the third. And he chimed in where needed to bring that level of like mental, hey, you want to be a man? This how it has to be done. And she knew enough not to go against his last judgment. You know what I mean? It was a level of respect, which I loved to see. A lot of times we see black fathers being undermined or not being enough. It was perfection. I can go on and on about the Martha's Vineyard scene. Baby, the whole episode. Her and her friends in that room doing their smoke and twerking, baby, after them kids. Like it was so realistic and so like, I love that you can show that you can have education, but you still black. We still black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved it. I know now it's like everybody wants to go to Martha's Vineyard now. I've seen a lot of videos on like, y'all late. Y'all got to come next year because it's done already now. It is just an amazing film. Again, like I mentioned, the soundtrack was amazing. The casting was good. There's going to be a season 2. If I'm being honest, I don't know what that looks like. And at first I was excited. And then I was like, well, what is it going to be? You know, the end of the show, Justin lets her go. And he pretty much tells her, you know, I need to do me and you need to do you, which is realistic. I think everyone, if you're not with your high school sweetheart, more than likely outside of like cheating, this is probably what happened, right? I'm going to go to school over here, you're going to go to school over there, and it's probably not going to work. And I think Keisha, big ups to her. She wanted her experience at Howard. That was her dream, right? I don't want you coming. And I didn't see it at first. He was making Keisha his life. And he recognized that. So when he asked her, I may go to Howard with you, an immature female would have been like, oh yeah, this is perfect. But he was like, yeah, nah. She was like, yeah, nah, this is not going to work for me. I loved it. I enjoyed it. I think it's a film everyone needs to see. Her dad, the scene at the pool, that was such vibes right there. They got the water guns out. The whole family is water gun fighting. It was just so many moments to smile and cry. Please see the film. It's well worth it. Again, I could go on and on and on about the life lessons and the trauma I was expecting to see. You don't see that. You see two teenagers that are in love going through normal teenage stuff. And that's all right. We don't need to see them about to not be here. So, thank you, Myra. I'm not sure what season 2 looks like. I'm scared, but if anyone can do it, I know she can. So I'm just thinking through like how this is going to work. How we going to get season 3, 4, and 5. But I trust her. So anyway. Okay, so I'm in the kitchen now. And so my lighting might be a little bit weird. Fix it. I think it's okay. I'm in my kitchen now, and so I'm gonna do the kebabs on the grill. So I have some yellow and red peppers. I have some white onion. I have some kebab beef, and then I have some chicken breast I'm gonna make on the grill. I'm gonna show you guys the grill, and then I have my kebabs in the sink now. They are wooden skewers, so I had to let them sit in some water for just a few minutes just so they can soak up. And then I'm going to show you guys the carrot salad. So I did the salad last night. Here it is here. I did add edamame, baby. When I tell you last night this was delicious. I do want to see what this tastes like present day. But in here is, and I'll put the recipe down below. But it's carrots. I have edamame, soy sauce, ginger, so soy sauce, sesame. I'm gonna butcher this. Let me see. Slow down. Carrots, green onion, red onion, edamame, soy sauce, sesame oil, sesame seed, garlic, rice wine vinegar, because you need to have that pickly flavor, salt and pepper. And did I say soy sauce? That's it. Delicious. It was so good last night. So I know it's going to be good today. So I'm going to have that with my kebabs because this is kind of like my weight loss. Like if you do a protein and a veggie, you can't go wrong with that, right? So another thing I purchased that was really good, and I'll show you guys, is a mandolin. Like I had one here, but it was a very generic mandolin, and I got it from like TJ Maxx or something. This one can be, you know, when you're doing a mandolin, you need some things a little thicker and some things a little bit like, I wanted my red onions to be super duper thin. So I wanted one that I could adjust the size or the thinness or the thickness of items. And then I was using my potato peeler to do my first carrot salad, but you really need, let me show you. Something about this one and the way that it's shaped, it really like gives you more of a thin ribbon and it makes a huge difference. My other salad was delicious, but the carrots were a little bit thick. So I'm going to see the crunchiness of this if it worked, but I think it did. It worked really well last. Okay, so my kebabs are ready. Here's the steak. And here is the chicken. So I have some meat left that I think I'm just gonna grill off to the side and I'll just take for lunch. I know with me, when it comes to like peppers and onions, I need them to be like crunchy. So I don't wanna do too many and can't eat them quick enough. So I was surprised at how many skewers this made though. So I have like 4 of the steak kebabs with 3 chunks of meat on each. And then I have 3 of the chicken ones with 3 chunks of chicken on it as well. And I still have a bowl of chicken left, and I still have 4 steak strips left. I have a few veggies left, and I may just grill that off to the side and then take this to lunch to work or eat later. But I know to keep up with meal prep, especially when it comes down to protein, it's good to have that done. Now, this is the reason why I'm ranting and raving about this grill, because the steak that I made separately and the chicken breast that I made chicken breast, I think, on Tuesday night, and I took it Wednesday and Thursday for lunch. Still juicy. See, it's one thing when it's juicy off the grill. It's another thing when it's juicy days later. That lets you know that something's right. Okay, so let's put these on the grill. Okay, so here's my grill, and I did chicken and steak. My sticks are a little bit long, but that's okay. I probably could have done them the long way, but maybe the next batch I'll do it like that. But yeah, sizzle, so good. So they're cooking up pretty good. I had to turn the fan on just to make sure it doesn't get too much going on. But the chicken I'm a little concerned about, because, you know, chicken takes a lot longer than steak, but it also has this hood right here. This is my little heat glove, y'all. This has a little hood on it where I feel like when I take the steak off, I may put the hood on just so that the heat can kind of stay in for the chicken, because I think it needs more time. So I'm down to my last 2 kebabs. I'm going to, the other ones are sitting in the oven, waiting. You see this, so I added the extra steak and the extra, vegetables. I didn't want to add the raw chicken in here with it, so I'm going to wait till this is done and then add the chicken, and then I'll be done. I want y'all to witness just how juicy this steak is right off the grill. The plate don't have nothing on there, okay? Perfectly cooked. It is just juicy, okay? Look at the juice that's in the plate. Oh my God. It is perfection. I like my steak medium well. Hot pink center. It's so good. Look at all the juice. I didn't even let it sit and rest. Look at all that juice. Okay, so here's my little plate. I have some of the veggies, the steak. I don't have the kebabs. They're sitting over to the side. That's for them for dinner tonight. And then I have my carrot salad. So let's go and taste the carrot salad because I haven't had it since last night. So this is the salad. It's still crunchy. It's still good. I left the edamame whole. I probably shouldn't have, but the flavor. It's so delicious. A little bit of the onion. Piece of chicken. So juicy. This makes me on a diet and not eating carbs fun. This still has so much crunch. I was a little bit worried that it would lose its crunch because of the carrots being thinner. Perfection. I'm drinking a Fresca. If you don't know, if you want a grapefruit citrus drink with no guilt, you know, Frescas are sparkling water. So I want to say it's 0 calories. This is the back. 0 calories. Put it in my tumbler. Okay, guys, so that's my video this week. Keep you guys updated. My next video may be of a walkthrough vlog situation. So I'll see you guys next week, and we'll see what's in the stores. Okay.